When is a laptop not a laptop? Alright, coming in from Hong Kong, we have the NexDock. This is the newest version of the NexDock. It's the one that has the touch screen. It's just arrived in this morning. It was a little bit late because I'm in Northern Ireland and we're at the bottom of the food chain whenever it comes to postage. However, we're going to get in here and have a look at it. So this is an option for anyone who has a particular Android smartphone. Oh, it's all taped up, isn't it? And a particular Android smartphone and is looking to maybe not have as many devices in their life. They don't need a laptop as well, but they still want some laptop style functionality and maybe wants to harness some of the power that's inside their smartphone, because to be honest, smartphones are pretty darn powerful, and having everything on there, it is a bit of a pain to have to try and sync the two of them up or get some sort of Bluetooth tethering going on. When you're on the train, it would be nice just to plug it in and go. So that's the NexDock there, which we will get into in a moment. We've got adequate packaging. I'm guessing this is a power adapter of some description. No, it's not. I suppose the power adapter's right there in front of me. We have a USB Type-C to USB 3 and a micro USB there as well. We have an HDMI cable. Then we have USB Type-C to USB Type-C with a nice little tie around it as well to keep it going. This is probably the one that is used the most. It's braided, feels quite tough, is about 1/2 meter long, and you'll probably need that the most. I thought for a second that was magnetic. It'd be nice if that was magnetic instead of having the tie, but you know. And then this, which is a USB Type-C to USB Type-C. So that's your charger cable as well, but obviously you don't need to use it. You can use one whatever you like, but it's probably best to use the one that comes with it because it's optimized. Then of course we have the charger itself, and it's nice that it's got the option to be able to change the cable as you like. If you want to take a shorter one with you, then you can do that. We have USB Type-C here. Sorry, I must have moved the light in my excitement. It seemed a bit dark there. USB Type-C here, and it shows that that is input 100 to 240 volts, 50 to 60 hertz, 1.2 amps. Type-C output 5 volts to 3 amps, 9 volts to 3 amps, 12 volts to 3 amps, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so it's a charger for charging. Then we have I'm in the UK for the time being, so we'll use that. Clicks on like that, and it looks quite tidy. Yeah. It's a charger. Woohoo! Then we have, that would be USA, Europe. Or is that Australia? I can't remember. It's a place. And then we have a nice little dongle, a couple of dongles in here as well. We have micro HDMI to HDMI, and then micro USB to USB Type-C. You can never have enough of those, so it's always good to have some more. And there you go. Oh, I suppose this as well. Yeah, we'll have a look at this too. Well, why not? So it comes in a rather nice protective inflatable pouch. It's good stuff there. Oh, and we have the quick start guide, which shows us how to hook up our phone, hook up our Raspberry Pi, Raspberry Pi 4, common questions, and safety notice. I'll leave that up so you can zoom in if you need to, if you've lost yours in the future. Then, of course, I'm in the UK, so they've made the NexDock with only one option of keyboard, and you have to use these silicone covers. Just a bit of cardboard. For regionalization, which are, you know, very light. They kind of stick. That seems to be a bit bent up in the corner there. Okay, probably won't end up using that. I've been using an American keyboard on my computer for quite some time now, so I'm happy enough. And the NexDock, it's cold and it's quite heavy. So it is quite heavy, but there's a massive battery inside here, which is sitting at about 8,000 milliamp hours, and that contributes to the whole thing being almost 1,500 grams. Not kilograms, that would be unliftable. Yeah, grams. Very nice. Here it says Nex upside down until you turn it round, and then it's upside up. Along the back, it looks quite smooth. You can see there's a bit of a hinge. There's a little bit of a fan in there for heat ventilation, that kind of thing. We have rubber feet on the bottom, of which there are 4, and a bunch of screws all around there that are exposed, so you can go in there and I don't know what you'd do inside it, there's probably not too much. We have those 4 speakers that can be used to output sound. That's one of the features of speakers. And we have an HDMI cable that goes, or connector that goes in here. We have 3 USB Type-Cs. Each of these has a different function. One is dedicated for power, I think one's for connection, and then one is directly for your phone. That one might be for, you know, plugging in a mouse or whatever if you happen to have a USB Type-C mouse. I can't remember off the top of my head which way around it is, but we can have a play and see. Along the front there's nothing. On this side we have a micro SD card port, a 3.5mm headphone jack, making those phones that don't have 3.5mm headphone jacks a little more usable, so you can listen to music or whatever on a tablet or phone if you need to. And then a USB 3 connector there for a hub or whatever to add other attachments. Actually, I'm just looking there and I can see there's wires and things like that in through here. I don't know if I can bring that round so that you guys can see, but you can see yellow stuff or innards or whatever that's in there. So opening it up, it is cold and it's taking up a lot of fingerprints. It feels nice because it's all aluminium around the outside. It's not plastic in any way. It's all aluminium. And then looking at these bezels, there's hardly any there. That's what, about 2mm from the edge to the edge of the screen. So there's a tiny bezel around there, which is nice, very nice. Obviously this is a touchscreen, and it's a 14.1 inch IPS display that does 1920 by 1080 in full HD, and it's 16 by 9, so it should look good on a number of things. We have the keyboard underneath it, which has a full array of keys. I'm particularly impressed with these cursors. You could actually get some gaming on them. One thing I want to do, I've got my phone loaded with ScumVM and DOSBox, so I'm hoping that I'll be able to use these to play a bit of Doom or something on the go. I think that would be quite cracking, so that it'll turn this into a nice kind of retro laptop on the go. I didn't have the previous NexDocks. This is the first one I've had, but I've heard that the touchpad was one of the lesser points, the lesser achievements on this, so I'm hoping that this is going to be, I'm going to get on quite well with this. I can't make a direct comparison, I'm only going on hearsay, but it's a good large size and it seems to be quite clicky. You click on the bottom left and right, and hopefully it supports multi-touch and things like that. Here there has been some confusion thinking this is a web camera, but it's not, it's just a NexDock logo. We have the escape button and the F keys, which are double function and operate very much like a keyboard. F11 doesn't seem to do too much, but I know that if you hit the function and F11, it'll turn off charging to your phone. So if your phone's sitting at 100%, you're not constantly pushing charge into it. You can turn that off altogether, which is a nice feature, I have to say. We got F12, delete, power button up there, backspace. Just I don't see too many differences. It looks just like a full keyboard that you would expect. There's a couple of LED indicators up there. There's power, there's lock, and then there's another one which I'm sure I should have checked the instructions to see what it does, but it does something, and whenever that illuminates, maybe it's caps lock, who knows, don't know, have to find out. So then the screen, it's held on by a couple of bits of masking tape. I was wondering if there was actually another screen protector underneath that, but there doesn't seem to be. So I'm no expert at DeX, but I'm using this as an opportunity to become an expert at DeX. So we'll plug this in and get the phone up and running on it. There, it's ready to connect. It works, good. We set that over the top here and see what if it fits snugly, or is this just going to be some kind of concern for the road that it's going to fall off one day and you'll find it sitting on a train platform where some unlucky sod has lost theirs. I don't know that there's any way to stick it down. Maybe you could put a couple of ring reinforcers at the edges here or something, but I'll keep it on for the meantime to see how long it lasts until I get disgusted with it and pull it off. It doesn't leave any lasting impressions or sticky substance, so that's alright. We plug that in there into the bottom of our S10, HDMI connected. We get Samsung Dex. Okay, so here's one thing that I'm quite keen to try. If I take my HDMI cable and plug her in here. Okay, so that goes in there, and then we plug the other end into this. Then we turn her on, and we turn on our device as well. It says it's ready to connect. And we have our Evercade. Sounded a bit fuzzy. We have our Evercade. Looking pretty good. And we can flip through. It works just like so. And we get Sega treatment. Yep, okay, so it all works on here. We're able to control this. Brilliant. Really chuffed. That's one way of gaming on the go. So then the proper idea is to get Dex up and running, rather than all this gaming tomfoolery. We plug that into there, and I'm just realizing that it doesn't really matter which way around the USB Type-C cable actually goes. So HDMI is connected. Samsung Dex boots up. We have there's a bit of lag whilst it's booting, but obviously you're not going to be using the mouse whilst it's booting. That would be silly and crazy. And then we put in our code, and we're into Dex. Okay, and we're getting an advert to use genuine Dex accessories. So, obviously the battery shows the battery level of the phone. So we have 42 notifications on the phone as well. We have screenshot mode, volume. I'm not reviewing Dex, I'm not going to go through all these things, but it's just a nice operating system that I very much want to take advantage of and try and use as much as possible. It's built into most Samsung flagship phones, so you should too. For $249, this does seem to be a really good solution to get you a pretty fast, fully featured laptop. There's not too many things that this can't do, and a lot of people are pushing that this does video editing as well. So using the touch screen, we can tap through our apps, which is kind of nice. We can jump on to, one thing I wanted to test was how Google Earth, oh, it can't run in Dex mode, so Google Earth is a problem. We jumped on to the likes of Instagram. We can see what old Andy's up to then and now. Jimmy White and Andy.
I tried to do a live tour before.
Oh, sorry, Andy. So yeah, you get the whole implementation. One thing that people will say that is that Android apps aren't very well optimized for tablet, but they actually are quite well optimized by Samsung on here. Now, obviously, if you've got a Huawei phone or a Pixel phones, you're trying to use the Google inbuilt one, you're going to have a slightly different experience. Dex is, I believe, the most popular phone-based operating system. If you're using an Apple product, some of the iPads I think will work with it, but the likes of the touchscreen won't work, and perhaps the keyboard won't work either. So it really is just an output screen that's slightly larger than the tablet you might already have. So it does seem a bit pointless that way. But I don't want to get into too much right now, because I just don't want to show how limited my knowledge of Dex is. I will hopefully come back to it in the weeks to come after being immersed in Dex, because I want to use it as my main operating system on the go and actually get rid of a tablet that I'm using, and this become my main thing. Obviously this is now fully connected. It uses my Wi-Fi, but whenever I leave Wi-Fi zone, it'll jump onto the mobile data, and I don't actually have to make any adjustments to the NexDock to harness that, whereas with a dedicated laptop you may have to switch between your sources or turn on a mobile hotspot or Bluetooth on your phone in order to get it working. Obviously there's ways around that, but just for simple sake, being able to plug a cable directly into a laptop is a big bonus. I am not 100% enthusiastic about this trackpad, to be honest. It does feel just, you can see there's a bit of movement there. You can put your fingernail in there, which I need to cut, but it's useful right at this point in time. Just this bit is plastic, and that little bit of plastic there feels a little bit lower in quality, and it affects the very bottom of this trackpad. And the trackpad feels just that little bit lower than the edge is here. There's about a 0.5 millimeter drop, which I'm not terribly enthusiastic about. I'm a bit I'm happy about that. So if I was to try, I've got a little podcast here that we recorded last week.
I thought it was very funny, and even by today's standards, very relatable. Some of the things he was saying, I actually related to.
So it does get quite loud. I will double check on YouTube as well, just to see how it functions.
With homecam is causing a bit of a fiasco. Samsung launching new tablet. Are Qualcomm entering the gaming hardware business? And YouTube could become a retailer like Amazon.
Okay, so one observation, well, if I turn it like this a wee bit, we'll be able to see it a wee bit better, is as I tap on the touch area, there's a very faint connection between what's below it and the plastic on the top, which I'm not 100% on. I'm quite not happy about that. Then I also have the volume issue as well. If I was to play this video, which has music, we are fully down at the moment. So if I was to increase the volume, it does have a bit of a good bit of dead area also. Whenever I don't know who that is, jumping from quite quiet to loud really only happens in the upper 30% or the last 30%, which is a bit odd. You know, it doesn't seem to use the whole range of volume available to it. It's quiet most of the time until you get right up to the very top, in which case it jumps quite significantly to rather loud. Not terribly loud. I wouldn't say you bring the house down at all with it, but the speakers are, there's 4 1-watt speakers in there, which are a wee bit weedy, I will say, but I guess you're not going to be, you've got a headphone jack there, so you can hook up some headphones if you're going for media playback and that sort of thing. So I guess for that it's kind of nice. The cover, the silicone cover for the keys, is irritating me already. I've only been using it for I've typed in about 4 things on it and I'm taking it off. It's nice of them to do that, but I will just manage with the Americanization of it. That's fine, because the keys are quite nice. They do have a nice feel to them. There you can see the caps lock is going on there. So they're, you know, I'd much rather use just the plastic chiclet keys as opposed to that silicone thing that's over the top. It really decreases the quality. But the trackpad, I'm not 100% on. I feel that they could have worked this a bit better and had a fairly nice glass pad or something there. Little disappointed in that, but it's going to take a real world use to be able to work out whether or not this is good or bad. And I suppose you can always hook up a Bluetooth mouse, but you don't want to have to do that and carry it with you at all times. You can use your phone as well as the trackpad, but that kind of removes the purpose. So let me know if you have any questions about the NexDock Touch. I'm going to go away and play with it for the rest of the day, and it'll be my device of choice for the next wee while. If there's anything you think that I should have a quick look at, or anything that you want to know about it, chuck me a message down in the comments box down below, and hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. And remember to tune into the Tech Addicts podcast on a Sunday afternoon, and then of course Talk Sport on a Wednesday morning at midnight for Inspect Your Gadget. And other than that, take care.